guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Today is May 1st, a Friday. My Camp NaNoWriMo vlog is attempting to process. I don't know if you can hear my computer. It's struggling just a little bit. But this video is going to be all about finishing the project that I was working on during Camp NaNoWriMo, Murder Mystery Tennessee. I have like 10,000 more words I need to add. I need to do some rereading. I need to do some re-outlining, go back over it, and then hopefully I'll be able to give it to my alpha readers at the end of that, somewhere through part of May. And I figured while I was doing that, I could do like a Q&A along with my writing vlog. So on the agenda today though is get this video up, do my poem, because I'm doing a poem a day in May. Get about 500 words in Murder Mystery Tennessee. I'm trying to take it easy after the mad dash that was Camp NaNoWriMo. And as it's a weekday, I'm also trying to get about 1,000 words in the Third Meridian Maps book. And I want to finish off one of my short stories today. So lots of stuff, but also we're in, you know, lockdown, quarantine, whatever day, something. Actually, Texas, May 1st, we're officially not that, but this girl is. I need to cut my hair. I need to give it a trim. So we're gonna do that first while we wait for this to finish up. All right, we're gonna see how this goes. The plus side of having long hair is that like, theoretically I can see what I'm doing. Theoretically. Wow. I feel like the weirdest unicorn ever. So since this video is going to be part Q&A, I got some questions. I figure I'll answer some. So Dylan's question is, how have you and your family and Duke been during the quarantine stay-at-home order? So actually, it's a good time to say that I'm in my parents' bathroom, and part of it is that they are not here because if I just go like, they're actually taking care of my grandma. She's been in the hospital, which I talked a little bit about. She's not doing great. So it's been a weird time to have everything going down because obviously no one can visit her in the hospital, but also we're at the point where people need to take care of her house and her money situation and get everything in order. So it's been weird. It's been weird. That's how I'm supposed to be doing this. I don't know. We're just gonna cut the hair. As for Duke, he has continued to lose a bunch of weight. He's also an old dog, so I don't know. I'm trying to make peace with what I imagine is gonna come pretty soon. Wow, what a great way to start off the vlog. Did I mess up my hair? Oh, I did. Look at that. Well, look at all that hair. It feels so nice as a ponytail now though. Whether the cut looks good, the hair is healthier now. Oh, and we're done, yay! Holly Terzova asks, how do you take your mind off the project when you feel like you need a break? And I feel like this is a good time to talk about it because though I had every intention of working through this on the weekend too, I didn't. And then on Monday I had a headache for most of the day, so I didn't look very much at my tech. I just did my puzzle and I just listened to audiobooks. And then I had my chat with Becca about Star Wars and I watched the movies while I was doing the puzzle, and yeah, I meant to write and yet I think I needed the break. I keep setting these goals, which is really good. And I love goals. But then also I'm getting better about giving myself the flexibility that right now in the time of lockdown and quarantine, and generally, it's fine if I need the break. So the way that I actually get my mind off of it is, I think I have almost the problem where I've written so much that my brain like needs a hard stop. So it's like my brain is refusing to write that story at least. And it's like, nope, it's not gonna happen. But then I look to kind of refill my creative well, which means a lot of reading or watching of TV or movies, consuming stories in a different capacity and consuming stories that I had no hand in making. That helps me so much. I'm also really big on going out on a walk and like listening to my podcasts, because oftentimes when I'm going out on a walk, if I'm listening to music, that's when I have like my epiphanies, if I'm gonna have them, which is good because then I can attempt to prompt them. But sometimes I just need to like have someone else talking so that I'm not thinking. And then I know I've talked about it a lot, but no joke, the puzzles. I had on Schitt's Creek and I did a puzzle and I think I hadn't even realized that like 2 hours had passed and I felt the most at peace as I had in a really long time. Like it was just, everything was going great. Puzzle, Schitt's Creek, I was a happy person. So I'd recommend trying to find little hobbies or something like that that you zone out on. For some people that's like crocheting while they're watching something or listening to something, just something that requires just enough effort but not too much effort. Was that helpful? I don't know. However, it is now Tuesday, May 5th, happy Cinco de Mayo, and it is time for me to return to Cyberstalker Sleuth, aka Murder Mystery Tennessee, aka my Camp Nano project that's not done yet. Really, I'm hoping over the course of this vlog, I will just finish up with all of these need to no longer be flags. They need to be something else. They need to just be normal and done and as good as I can make them. So that or green flags. One of those. We are going to start with the red flag that just says need another fail. So that's good, you know. Got a little margarita for my work. Happy Cinco de Mayo. All right, and for my little break, I'm going to watch/listen to Simply Podological while I put up some clothes.
Our approach to collabs was YouTube videos.
Oh, wait.
She went on a beauty guru brand trip last year.
It didn't work, it's fine. I realized I think I need 2 fails in 1 chapter. So I had this epiphany on the way that I could integrate in the PI narrative along with the murder angle and her working in conjunction with the police department. This is one of those that because I want it to be a series, not all of the cases have to be so closely intertwined, but this one is going to eventually be somewhat intertwined. I want to have a chapter where we're focusing on both just so that it's not jarring when they are intertwined, but it's still like a good shock. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to brainstorm a way that I can do that because she needs to continue to fail. Like before she was having little wins and now she's having some little losses. We're kind of at the point where we're about to start scrambling toward the end. This is good now, knowing that that's what I want to do. I'm just not sure how to do it. I don't know why I think talking to the camera is going to give me the epiphany that I need, but alas. While I'm waiting for genius to strike me though, I did get the question from Maria17MC, have you read graphic novels or comics? So let's go to the bookshelves. And you can't see it because it's all the way down at the very bottom, all the way down here, but this entire shelf, can I bring the camera in there? Whoa, there we go. Okay, this entire shelf is manga and it's full and I can't get any more there. And obviously you see on the sides some. So the answer is yes. I'd actually like to read more. I talked about this on a live stream once, I think, but my biggest thing is that I used to get them so much from the library growing up, which I loved, and now I tend to get them from half-price books, but this is the like love-hate thing about them, is that the series tend to go on really long. I do have a couple that are only like a 6-book or 4-book, but like they're so expensive, and especially the ones that I love that go on for like 40 plus or 100 plus, and that's just so much money. And now where I live, the library is a lot smaller, so it's harder to rely on that, so that's really the only reason that I don't read as many as I used to. I also have a lot. I'm thinking of doing the 1 chapter challenge. I think Jessica told me about it on BookTube. It's where you have like your TBR or like lots of books on your list that you want to read inevitably. So the goal is you read 1 chapter from each of them. Sometimes people do it to help them decide if they want to keep the book, but others decide if this is going to be the book they read this month. So I'm thinking I should do that with all the manga I have only the first volume of. Volume, not book. That's the word I was looking for. Wow. Anyways, you know, future plans. But now I think it's time for an afternoon pick-me-up, a cappuccino. Woohoo! Oh, that almost matches my nail color. And I think I'm going to take a quick poetry break. So I was walking around and chatting with my friend and I realized that I just need to read the entire story over again because I'm at the part where like, I don't want to get anything wrong at this point. Does that make sense? So all of the scenes left to be added or changed are at the end, and I'm worried that if if I do it now and I don't get it right, I'm just gonna have to do it over again. So I need to reread so that I can be sure of my pacing and that I put in all the hints I needed to before, which is fine. It's fine. Like my friend was telling me, it's no big deal when your plans have to change. In fact, the sooner you recognize it and can act on that change, the better. So, but I figured I would answer one of the questions because it seems partially relevant here. From Michelina, which asks, do you find constructing a crime story harder than other kinds of plot? Yes and no. No, because theoretically in all stories, you want the reader to follow along, but you don't want them to know everything. Like in a happily ever after romance, you know the characters are going to get together. You just don't know how it's going to happen and what's going to kind of stand in their way and how insurmountable it might be to get to this ultimate conclusion. And along the way, you need to add those hints, the tension, the romance. You need to add all of this stuff in. I think mystery, the difference is in some capacity, you want there to be a twist or some sort of shock factor. That's the only part that I think can be a little bit harder. Also, mysteries, I think, are a little bit harder to sort of pants. That was another question. Who asked that? Some amount of all my stories are organic, oftentimes pants, and like romance that might bloom, I kind of just let it bloom. Harder to do that with a mystery. Or you end up doing what I'm doing now, which is like having to fix all the stuff. Also, I'm under the trees because it is so hot today. We're really officially starting to be in Texas summer, so all my walks that I have to do and all my planning of talking with friends that I want to do while walking must be done either in the shade or like at night. All right, so I managed to go over the first 3 chapters leading up to the first arrest for one of the murders. I like it. It's good. It needs a little bit of work, but ultimately it's definitely one of those things where I absolutely need beta readers' opinions or alpha readers' opinions on for if the murder takes place too late in the opening. Yeah, I need help. I need someone else. So this is one of those things where it's a good time to make it as clean as I can and then give it to someone. So this just affirms what my next step is. A little bit nervous for the rest of what I'm going to read, but I think it's actually going to be pretty good until the end when I have a mess and a jumble. So that's the hope. Let's go outside again. So the writing mania asked, do you write full time? And this is an interesting question to get an interesting time for me. In the past, I've been annoyed with the way people phrase writing full-time, at least on authortube or YouTube, because full-time for some people means they have no job other than to write, or full-time for other people means make enough money that you can quit your day job. Then of course there's this whole aside about how enough money in one place isn't going to be enough in another if you live with roommates, if you live with your parents, etc. But recently I've been 3-year planning and thinking about all of my different sources of income. So while I work completely for myself, I'm not making money just from writing. Does that make sense? And I don't think I'd ever want to make money just from writing. Like my goal in doing all of these things is that so I can write full time and hopefully within the 3 years, you know, make enough money that I'm not living with my parents anymore. But I think there's a lot of added pressure to only writing for your income. Does that make sense? I think I might make a video about this and break it down a little bit further so I can explain better, but writing full-time feels like a misnomer. I can write full-time now because I don't have to pay rent. I hope to write full-time in the future by making enough money, the same amount that I was at my corporate job, but not just from writing. Yeah, okay. So Andrea asks, how do you plan how much time passes in your story? And since I am rereading and now working on a timeline, I figured there was no better time to tackle this question. Because I think of things so often in scenes and because I tend to brainstorm scenes, it's basically just piecing those together. So for time passing, it's basically when I get the idea for the next scene and what makes sense. So like for this story, it's a murder mystery. Things need to happen pretty quickly. Lots of escalations in a short amount of time. If I was writing about a serial killer and the detective that was tracking them over a series of months. Uh-oh, siren. No. Then obviously more time would have to pass than my current story, which is told in basically, I think it's gonna be the span of like 2 weeks. Or are we gonna have? Or less. As for tips on that, I actually think The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was a great example of a lot of time passing and it not ever feeling that way or like you missed out on anything. That was one of the observations I had while reading it. The emotional journey didn't feel like we'd skipped anything. I think that's what's important. The emotions and the tension and everything needs to be one fluid story despite the amount of time that might have passed. As for how to get better at that, I honestly don't know. More writing, I guess. Probably the answer to everything, isn't it? Read more. I don't know, not helpful. And then Sophie Made of Paper asked if it was weird seeing my channel grow so fast, especially in comparison with my friends, and did I ever feel guilty for that success? Which I know I say there's parallels between authortube and like writing all the time, but this is another one. So much of success with anything is having good ideas, being consistent, i.e. like putting in the work, but also so much of it is luck based. So I don't feel guilty for the success since I know that some of it was, you know, my doing. I had some good ideas, but that also the YouTube algorithm bestowed upon me its greatness randomly. And yeah, that was my element of luck, and there's no measuring that luck. So while I have people that I love watching and really think that the YouTube algorithm should pick them up, I think we all know it's basically kind of like a crapshoot on who or what or when it's going to do it. So I definitely don't think it's something to feel guilty about. And also lots of my friends, I've known them for a really long time, or long time in terms of authortube, like a year. I was friends with them for a year before any of that really happened or exploded, so that would be silly. And they've definitely never made me feel guilty or anything like that. All right, as you can tell by the change of clothes, it is a new day. I have been working on this for so long, and I do have an update. I got my reread notes figured out. I actually stopped with chapter 7 because I realized I had an epiphany on how to mislead a false lead a little bit more. This was something that I knew I was missing, that I felt I was missing. And now that I have this figured out, I need to put it back in. So I actually texted my alpha readers and told them, I'm now admitting defeat fully. I told them that I would get this draft to them by the end of May now instead of mid-May, May 16th, which was my plan, but I feel really good about it. And even with this change that I realized through chapter 7, I actually think it's a really solid beginning. It feels like the first act or so has been wrapped up and we're ready to go. So the feeling's there, which is really good. It's just gonna take me longer to put in the false lead. But you know, the story's gonna take what the story's gonna take. But I think that is gonna be it from me. This was a week of work that somehow only resulted in more work. But that's kind of writing in general, isn't it? Please do comment down below. Let me know about a time where you thought a project would only take a certain amount of time and then it managed to take a lot more time than you thought. AKA, if you're like me, all projects. Please also let me know if you've had any great story epiphanies recently, whether that did result in more work or if it was just like a new idea. And also let me know if you're still working on your Camp NaNoWriMo project. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month. Sarah Hunter, Lisa F, Sarah H, Jana, and Stefan Kunzler, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye! So the writing mania asks, words are so hard. How do can I? Oh, no, not really. Anyways.